My guest today, Carol Davis, she's a phenom. You're not going to believe how old this beautiful woman is. She is self-made, um, owns hundreds of acres, and all she wants to do is serve you. You've got to hear the story of Carol Davis on the Dana Tyson podcast. All right, I met Carol Davis during the pandemic. This is one of the hardest working women. And honestly, there are some businesses that faltered and failed during the pandemic. But Carol, how many acres is it out in the Cat Spring area?
Oh, about 350.
Okay. People who wanted to leave the city and just enjoy their family and get away from it all came to Blisswood Bed and Breakfast. And Carol runs the entire operation all by herself. And Carol, it's just been, I mean, my mom rides a horse out there. It is a place of tranquility and beauty and peace and yet activity if you want it. And Carol runs, like I said, the entire place. Carol just celebrated her birthday over the weekend. I won't tell people how old you are, Carol, but um, it's amazing what fresh air will do for a woman because you are an incredible woman. And Carol said, let's talk about from adversity to triumph. And before we get to your story, I just wanted to say you have teamed up now with your neighbor, and it's called M3 Ranch. And Carol is now inviting you to take a horse ride from Blisswood into M3 Ranch for some wine tasting after the horse ride. Do you have a name for this adventure?
Yes, uncorked adventure.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's where your party was at the M3 Event Center where you can get married, you can have family reunions. It was an incredible place, and it's literally right next door to Blisswood. So if you guys are looking for an incredible event space with beautiful ponds and live oak trees and horses and everything that the city doesn't offer. You get out to Cat Spring and it's just pure heaven under the stars, s'mores, whatever you guys want. Carol makes sure that your dreams come true out there. It's amazing. It really is. And to do it on your own, you say from adversity to adventure. Why don't you tell a little bit about your story and how you ended up where you are today?
You mean from the very beginning, from the cotton patch on?
Well,
That would take hours.
and you were telling some cotton patch stories. I mean, you're a farm girl. You grew up in LaGrange.
That's right. Well, Warda, it's between LaGrange and Giddings, and grew up there, but was very organic, and I'm so thankful for that. Although I, dreamed about really leaving, and so I went to the city to make my mark there. I started working for the FBI in Washington, D.C., came back to Houston to go to court reporting school. And I became a court reporter, and I have the Carol Davis reporting service in Houston and still have that. But when I got tired of the city lights and came to Cat Spring, I started a bed and breakfast, which was just a little, two houses, and it suddenly started blooming. And I had to quit my own reporting, and I still have it with other reporters. But I just wanted to share my place and with people and started getting more houses and more cabins. And then I started doing horseback riding and trap shooting and archery and tomahawk knife throw. We have an exotic animal safari. We have massages. So I just want to share what God gave me with other people so they can come and feel the bliss of nature and just being out of the city. And we're so close, as you know.
I know it's
And
50 miles. I mean, it's not far at all.
yeah, it's very, very close. So that's it. All didn't really start with a big plan. I just had a little plan that mushroomed, and I just said, God, you want me to do this? Just keep me healthy. And I stay very healthy. And my active life is walking my dogs because I rescue and foster border collies. And so I get to walk with them. Those are my little breaks that I take during the day. And I do a few little social things since the restaurant is no longer there and y'all have it.
Yep. Carol's at
I
Cat Spring.
Yeah, it was Carol's at Cat Spring for 20 years, and pandemic came along and you know how that went.
Yeah.
You have to close, and I did. It was too hard to open, and I was still cooking myself for my guests until I said, can't do this anymore. I miss
And
that
Carol, I will
social
tell you,
life.
there have been restaurants that have come into the area that kind of gave you a break. 22 North Holland in Belleville. I know
Yes,
you even know the chef there, which is crazy. What a
yes.
small world. That you can bring, your guests can now, because out in the country, very slim pickings for food and restaurants that are open all the time. It just doesn't happen that way.
But that's my favorite restaurant. It's really top notch, and it's like anything you can get in Houston. And I love dining there with interesting people like Dana Tyson.
We do double dates there. Well, not double, but I bring my husband and we just chat. And Cody, who is the chef there, actually trained up in Vermont, which is where I come from. But he's from Belleville. And so he gets his
Yeah,
training in Vermont, makes it all the way back to Belleville, and opens that incredible restaurant. And it's just interesting because I meet so many people from Houston who now are kind of looking at the country just as a little mini escape. And there's just so much beauty out there and so much relaxation. City life is amazing. I'm in the city every day, but it's always nice to get that little respite out in the country. And the horseback riding, the fishing. Carol is the one that you will talk to on the phone. She is the one, if you've got an issue, she'll make it happen. You're going to have a special anniversary out there. Carol's the one who makes it happen. And when you celebrated your 50th birthday, I was like, how is this woman even doing it? And I just wanted to bring you on to make you to let people be inspired by you because you are the new 50. You are
I
the new 50.
well, I feel 40. Okay,
Uh-huh. Okay, so
I
I
just feel
overaged
so
you then.
young.
Yeah,
I believe in keeping yourself active, keeping your brain active, and of course your body active, and being interested in something that is a purpose, and getting up and having a purpose, and keeping that goal in mind, and just never give up on a dream.
right. But how did you went from court reporting to ownership of hundreds of acres of land? How did you make that jump? That just doesn't make sense. I'm not seeing any connection there.
Well, because I my heart really was in the country, and in
Okay.
Houston I could only have cats and dogs, and I really love animals and nature. And there were certain things that had happened in Houston to friends, and one was a murder, and and it
I
just
know
pushed
that
me into
situation. I
yes,
remember that situation.
the,
I've got a lot
yeah,
of people who, who's that organization? Crime Stoppers did a
yeah,
whole fundraising event around the murder of this real estate agent, senseless, and it was horrible. And
yes,
she happened to be your friend.
yes. And I just said, there's some messages here. What do I do? I wanted to be out of that kind of chaos. I do miss some of the city life, but I said I can have it when I want it.
Yeah.
But that catapulted me to, well, I wonder if I could commute, still report, live in like, some other people here in Cat Spring. Could I commute? So I said, I can do it. And the first night that I was here after I closed on the property, I went to my pond and there was a full moon. And I said, this is it.
Yeah.
I did the right thing.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, as time went on, I got the bed and breakfast, which that was the right thing. And you meet very interesting people through this business. And I have a lot of international guests
Yes. I was
because
thinking about your German guests.
yes, well they like it's the Texas thing.
Yeah.
And they like to come and ride horses. That's the biggest activity that we have here, and it's the biggest activity that the people from across the pond do. And I get them from Australia, New Zealand, and all through Europe. So it's very interesting. And the most interesting thing that happened here, I think, is that the German Bachelor was filmed here, and it was 10 days of intensity, but very interesting to see behind the scenes and all the things that happen. So That
Like The
was
Bachelor in America, this was the German Bachelor that they also have
right.
theirs. You also had some
Exactly.
models coming out and using your horses as part of their props for these
Oh yes.
incredible, the haute couture style was amazing. And I remember
Yeah.
driving by and seeing that, just thinking, all that's going on out here, people just love that Texas life, and you really
Yes.
do epitomize
Exactly.
it. Carol, what would you say to, I mean, you've got so much wisdom, and if you would want to tell people your age, I welcome you, but I'm not going to bring it up. And I'm just amazed because I know so many people your age who they we could all be like you, but people choose to act older. I guess they think that they're supposed to be older, but you're acting 40, even though you're, not. And it's women need people like you. Women need other women like you to you pave the way for us to see how life can be lived. So
Well,
if
I'll
you could
say
give
the road
women
wasn't
advice.
the road wasn't always easy, but I always had a dream in mind and always worked towards a goal and had a vision. And I think that's what gets you up in the morning. And you can't just sit down and watch TV, which I don't do that. So
Right.
I listen to some news just to keep up with things. But I think that staying active mentally and physically, having a hobby is great. I have hobbies that I can't do now because my hobby is keeping people happy.
Now,
But I
but you
think
were a
having
dancer. You were a dancer.
and
And I know you love
I
to dance.
danced. Yes, I danced competitively for 8 years and loved it, ballroom. And my teacher, my partner, just called me yesterday. He always calls me on my birthday, wishes me happy birthday. And sometimes I wish I were back on that floor again and doing that. And so my hope is that someday I can go back to doing that. It's hard in Cat Spring. Not too many ballroom dancers here.
Exactly, exactly. Well, your gift is to your residents there who come out and just try to get away from it all. And I've watched you interact with them and the kids that come and the moms and dads and you're just a servant, giving them such an incredible relief and release from a chaotic life at home.
Well, I have a servant's heart, and you have to have that. You have to have that in the hospitality business. You have to have that in the restaurant business, and I think you have to have that in many types of businesses. And but you have to have the heart, and that heart needs to be fed by seeing the joy in other people. And that's what gives me the joy to
Right.
carry on.
Isn't that great? Well, I knew I just had to talk with you around the holidays because the holidays are all about joy. And if, the way that you give can teach us how to give more, less about receiving, more about giving. And then we can
Yes.
age as beautifully and gracefully as you have.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going to reveal your age, Carol?
Oh, let's see, 8 decades.
80 years old, this beautiful woman with such a happy, joyful smile. And every minute of her life was not filled with happiness and joy, but you've persevered. You have gotten up
Yeah,
every day. You're not a quitter. And you've learned the key, serving others and bringing joy to other people.
that's it.
I love it.
It's
I
so
love it.
easy. It's so easy.
We just needed you to tell us. That's all. You're the fountain of youth. What is the answer? The answer is giving. And you summed it up in your beautiful face. And we wish you a
Well,
very happy 80th birthday.
oh, thank you. And never forget who brought you to the dance.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. Gotta say thank you, Jesus, for all that he's
yes,
done in our lives. And a very Merry Christmas
yes.
to you. And I'll see you out in the country, okay?
Okay. Yes, hopefully. You still owe me a dinner.
I know, I know. I took her to a surprise party. She thought I was taking her out to dinner, so we will do it. You're just a beautiful lady. I've learned so much from you, and I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to share you with our listeners here on Sunny.
Thank you.
Take care, Carol. It's
Bye.
great to see you, and a happy birthday again, and Merry Christmas.
Have a great day and Merry Christmas to you.